Happy Friday, Top Fan Rivalry listeners. It is Friday again. I am Jackson. I'm here with Bill. It is the weekly review. We're back
Yes. Yes.
again
I'm liking it.
every week. We're back.
Yes. I'm wearing corny, the can of corn hat today. Jackson's obviously wearing his 5-13 Braves hat. Oh, did I say that out loud? Jackson.
Oh, what?
Yeah. Wait. Gotta go. Lunch date. there, there you go.
Hey, hey,
Jackson.
hey, hey, hey,
Jackson.
hey, hey,
Jackson.
hey.
We got to have some good times with this. Talk
The,
to me,
the,
Jackson. Start out, and for those of you that aren't familiar, Jackson and I, obviously, this is on YouTube, this is on Bleacher Brothers. For those of you that aren't familiar, get familiar real quick. Jackson and I go through our top five moments of the last week. We're throwing a couple of honorable mentions, throwing a couple of discount codes in there. We have all kinds of fun. So, Jackson, start me out. Numero uno. And in English, that means number one. Jackson, which number one are you?
I think we should talk about the best hitter in baseball, Bill. Uh, I think you need to all
You?
rise. It is the weekly Aaron Judge update, as we frequently have on the weekly review.
Okay.
Aaron Judge entering play today, Bill. Through 70 at bats, has 7 home runs. He is hitting 400. He has 22 RBIs. He's slugging 771. His on base percentage is 512. That's a 1283 OPS. How does he keep getting better? I have no idea. Uh, it
Yeah.
just seems
He's
every season, if this guy's healthy, it's crazy to me. And the fact he's doing this without Juan Soto in the lineup, without Stanton in the lineup, it, it's nothing short of impressive. You know,
he's seen the ball almost like it's a beach ball on a freaking tee right now. And so yeah, it's pretty impressive. I agree.
Aaron Judge is one of those guys that's, they say you only get one mistake pitching at bat. With him, you get zero. There's just certain guys you cannot throw a pitch over the plate and
Yeah.
have it catch too much of the plate. It's
Well,
crazy. I know it's a little early, but like if he gets another 60 home run season this year, Bill, he'll be firmly towards 400. He's on track for the Hall of Fame. I mean, even so, if he gets another 60 home run season, he will join Sammy Sosa was the only player with multiple 60 home run seasons. Fun fact.
yeah. So Jackson, you mentioned this already. I mean, you mentioned his home runs, his hits already. He's hitting 400. Here's what I think is interesting about Aaron, and I did something with somebody. I did a kind of a plus or minus 40 home runs at the All-Star break. I actually think he's on pace for that. I think he'll hit one or two more, maybe three more this month, and be at the magical number of 10. So what's he do um in May and in June? So if he hits 10 each one of those months, I mean he's got a shot for 35 to 40.
Yeah, he hit 58 last year, and he hit like one in April, right, or something like
Right,
that. So
right.
if he hits in April, he's going to hit easily over 60 home runs. And to me, it's just baffling that a guy can carry that kind of form.
Yeah.
I saw a stat floating around today that people were showing around his last 162 games. He's hitting 343, 63 home runs, 159 RBIs.
Well, and you when you look at his this is his 10th year in the league, right? When you look at his statistics, this is his 10th year in the league. And we're only what 19, 20, 21 games, something like that in to this thing. But it's his 10th year in the league. He's kind of getting in the zone. Um, Jackson, I'm going to make a bold prediction here. He's got 6 more years on his contract plus this season. I'm going to make a bold prediction that says that Aaron Judge, by the time his contract is complete, which I believe is age 39, I'm going to make a bold prediction and say that Aaron Judge hits 600 home runs in his career.
I mean, if he plays like this when healthy, absolutely.
Mhm.
Because
Yeah.
he only needs to average 30 home runs. And if he's going to hit 50, 60 home runs a year for even the next 3 years, we might be talking maybe 700 if his fall off isn't crazy,
Mhm.
which would certainly be something.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking at his stats going into tonight's game, 7 home runs. I'm sorry, 322 home runs, 1,054 hits. So I'm going to give him another 1,000, maybe 1,500 hits, but I'm going to give him another 300 HRs at a very bare minimum. At a very bare minimum. So I'm thinking, yeah, this is going to be a good time. It's going to be a really, really good time.
Yeah, I just thought I'd bring it up that the best hitter in baseball just keeps getting better.
Yeah, that's
And I don't
that.
know how he does it.
Me neither. All right, Jackson, that is a great number one. Can I? Well, Jackson's just allergic to everything, sneezing all over the place and everything. Jackson, I'm going to bring up my number one. Here we go. Are you ready? By the way, before we
Yes.
get to that, thank you so much, Bleacher Brothers, for having us on. You guys are amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. We appreciate it. Always love doing that. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you're checking out Bleacher Brothers as well. All right, Jackson, here we go. You ready?
Yeah.
As our good friend Kumo D would say from the 80s rap song, Wah Wah West. Has the West gotten a little bit wild in the National League? Going
Yes.
into Friday, San Diego 15-4, the Dodgers 14-6, and San Francisco 13-6. And let's not forget Arizona, who lost today in a wild one in Chicago, which I'm sure we'll talk about that at some point. Is 12-8. Jackson, is this a wild group to start out with?
Yeah, I think it's kind of crazy that all four of those teams have gotten off to a good start. Um, yeah, I'll talk about who I think is the weakest in a minute from the initial observations. But yeah, it's crazy. The Padres have had this crazy home run that hasn't been seen run at home, not home run.
Mhm.
Let me phrase that different. Run at home that hasn't been seen since they made the World Series in 1998. And this Padres team, you know, we've seen, the offseason Padres have expectations before. And this was the first time in a while that everyone was expecting them to regress. They look like a complete ball team that can hang with LA all season. San Francisco is working some sort of magic, like they do, to get the most out.
Boo! Boo! No, I'm
Yeah,
San Francisco fans. I'm sorry. I'm just
yeah,
joking.
and
I'm just joking.
obviously the Dodgers are a great team, and the Diamondbacks are kind of just stuck in that in between. It's like they went out and signed Corbin Burns,
Yeah,
they signed Eduardo Rodriguez, they spent all this money revamping their starting rotation. It's like, what do they got to do, man?
yeah, yeah. No, 100%, 100%. You have two teams going into Friday's games that have a win percentage of over 700 or 700 or better. That's the Dodgers and the Padres. The Padres are 12-1 at home. The Dodgers are 10-2 at home. But seeing the fact that the Dodgers have played, or I'm sorry, the Padres have played 19 games going into Friday, and they've played 13 of them at home tells you that yeah, we're gonna have a little bit of a lopsided back end of the season, right? Where they're gonna be on the road quite a bit. So I just think it's amazing. These teams are hitting the ball, they're putting the ball in play. Arizona scored 11 runs today. It wasn't enough. Um, Sometimes you just have games like that.
Uh,
It just is what it is.
Yeah, I'll kind of leave that into my number two. They lost today's game 13-11. 11 runs today wasn't enough. Uh, X amount of runs wasn't enough. Kind of sounds like Arizona's season in a nutshell because their offense has been really, really good. Uh, yeah, they've been hitting the ball really well. They had a 10-run inning today in Chicago, and then the bullpen is here's my highlight from the game. The Diamondbacks bullpen collapsed in spectacular fashion, allowing 11 runs, Bill, and just six outs. They only walked
Agreed.
two batters. They gave up 12 hits in those six outs. So if Arizona wants to keep up their hot start, they got to find some consistency in the bullpen because you cannot lose winnable games like this with postseason aspirations. These are the games that come back to haunt you late in the season. The ones you should have had a 10-run inning to put you up. Late in the ball game should be enough. Uh, but yeah, it's definitely game of the season. You got to credit the Cubs who kind of feel like Arizona, all offense, no bullpen. What's a bullpen?
Mhm.
Kind kind of team, but it certainly makes some entertaining baseball for us neutral fans.
Yeah, Jackson, I gotta tell you, I'm not gonna lie to you. I think that that game, there's games that you're gonna have like this. This is gonna happen 8 or 9 times a season throughout the league, right? Where you just have this weird, crazy, what was it, 10 or 15 years or so ago, where the Dodgers were down by 4 runs and they hit back to back to back to back home runs, shoving it into extra innings, and then Nomar Garcia hit a walk-off 2-run home run. That was before you had the ghost runner and stuff like that. So these games are just, but literally, we talk about shutdown innings all the time. In the seventh inning, and I posted this on Twitter. In fact, I'll read you my actual post on Twitter because I think you'll find it funny. Um, I posted this on Twitter. I said, and this was when the bottom of the eighth inning was starting. I said, so the Cubs put up 5 in the seventh, and the Diamondbacks say, "quote hold my Gatorade," unquote, and put up 10 in the eighth. I mean, talk about lack of shutdown inning right there. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
It kind of seems like the Cubs took that Gatorade and drank it.
yeah,
So
yeah. 100%,
yeah,
100%.
yeah. But I think for the Cubs and the Diamondbacks, that's going to be really important watching for is how these bullpens hold up because they have not been great early. I was telling Bill before we started tonight that I don't want to hear any other team in the league complain about their bullpen after what just happened today.
What just happened? What just happened?
Unless your bullpen melts down for 10 runs in one inning, I don't want to hear
Yeah, yeah,
it. It's
yes,
not. It could be worse.
yes, yes. Okay, Jackson, for my number two, I'm gonna play a little game called Surprised, Not Surprised. Okay.
All right.
As far as slow starts or hot start. Surprised that Toronto is doing as well as they are, starting Friday out at 11-8.
I am. I think Toronto lacks lots of position players, and I think most of their bullpen's not very good.
Yeah,
But they're off to a pretty good start. They're playing nice team baseball.
yes. Not surprised that Baltimore started out 8-10. I told you,
No,
Jackson, when they got rid of these people, I said, "Oh, this is gonna be tough." Surprised, not surprised.
I'm not surprised. They usually start slow. You
Okay.
know,
Surprised, not surprised that Motown Boys started off 11-8.
I'm surprised. I would, me. I'm the known Tigers hater on this podcast. I'm surprised that Spencer Torkelson's found a bat again. You know, but they're taking it. They're running with it. So
Not surprised, Jackson. Not surprised. Surprised, Jackson, or not surprised that Kansas, or I'm sorry, that Texas started out 12-7.
I'm not surprised. The AL West this week. We've talked about it like that. Anyone can win that division. Uh,
Okay.
they stayed relatively healthy, and I think that's Texas's key all season. Is they're the best team if healthy, but they have that little asterisk there. Are they going to be healthy?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The Angels have lost 4 in a row coming in. They were 9-5, which I thought, "Oh, okay, but they lost 4 in a row. So we'll see. We'll see how things play themselves out. They're back home against San Fran tonight.
Tough series.
Um,
Tough series.
I'm going to skip over the National League East for a second because I'm sure you'll have plenty to say. Um, but surprised, not surprised that the Cubs 13-9, and not only 13-9, but they have scored 137 runs, Jackson, in 21 games or 22 games.
I'm surprised that the Cubs offense is this good. I thought Kyle Tucker would help. I didn't think he would catapult them to a top of the league offense. So credit the Cubs hitting. Again, what mind the bullpen.
Yeah. And then finally, surprised, not surprised that San Francisco and San Diego have started out as hot as they have.
You know, San Francisco does surprise me. Uh, San Diego doesn't really surprise me. I thought the way they ended their last season, they seemed kind of angry in the offseason. I thought, a lot of people were, calling for, trade Fernando Tatis Jr., trade, you know, Dylan Cease. Them holding on to those pieces kind of signaled to me that they were going to try to, go for it one more time. So I'm not surprised that they've started hot. Maybe I'm surprised that they started this hot, but I'm not surprised that they started hot.
Okay, fair enough. I thought it was there's a lot of things that are surprising to me that aren't surprising to me. I'm very surprised that I expected the Giants and the Padres to duke it out for third place. Um, and that may still be the case. I expected Arizona to be a lot better. Of course, Arizona's been plagued with arm injuries and things of that nature. But yeah, now I purposely skipped over Jackson, the National League East. On your number three, is there anything you want to talk about, or do you just want to skip over the National League East completely?
Just do it. Here, I'll give you my honest opinion.
Uh-huh.
I'm surprised that the Braves boogeyman has not gone away. They hit the ball hard, it's right at everyone. So I guess I shouldn't be surprised. I'm surprised that they've been this bad. I've also been surprised by Miami, you know, winning a couple of series early. What I have not been surprised about, the Phillies' lack of bullpen depth and them not currently being in first place, starting slow. I think Phillies' front office decision to make one move, which was sign Jordan Romano, and not fix a lineup that's been terrible in the postseason the last 3 years, was certainly a choice.
Yeah, choice for sure. Choice for sure.
Certainly a
Uh,
choice.
I
Any Phillies fan will tell you that too. It was certainly a choice.
yeah, yeah. I got to tell you, I'm not gonna. I mean, I'm not. If I were a Braves fan, if I were you, I would not be freaking out about this start at all. Because there's still a lot of baseballs to play. Now, if in at game 40, you're 15 and 25, now I
Oh
got
yeah.
some issues, right? Um, but 18 games into it, 19 games into it, whatever, I I'm not freaking out yet. I am not freaking out yet. So, um, okay, Jackson, what do you got for your number three?
Number three, let's talk about Barry Bonds. I mean Tyler Soderstrom, the Atlanta home runs.
Yeah.
He slugged 9 home runs for the Athletics this season. He's living up to the hype. He's one of their top prospects for the last couple of years. His age 23 season, 9 home runs to open the year is a really, really good start. I think the A's are starved for any sort of star power as they head towards moving to Las Vegas. And I've talked about it. I think they're a good young team. They have a shot this year, but in a couple of years, if they can get guys like Soderstrom to develop to their potential, this A's team is one to watch for the future because they're really, really good at developing talent. As much as we talk about how bad the ownership is, and haha, the A's don't spend any money. They
Mhm.
pump out talent. Just look at the rosters around the league and where they came from. It's from Oakland's farm system. A lot of really good players.
Jackson, in all fairness, we're only 19. Some clubs have played 20, 22 games, whatever. Are you aborting your position of the A's winning the West?
No,
Oh, okay. Sounded
if I
like you were
if I
kind of saying
if I
you
made
were
it sound
out.
that way, I am not. I do not believe in the Texas Rangers long term health. So go on, Barry Soderstrom and clobber 70 home runs and lead the A's to an AL West title. Moneyball two, here we come. You know,
Oh man, you're funny, dude. I like it. I like it. I like it. Um, okay, I love it. Okay, so tell me, oh no. I'm watching the Yankees game on the side here as we're recording and foul ball just hit the poor catcher right where he doesn't want to get hit. So, and the backup catcher's sitting over there laughing at him. Which that's boys will be boys, I guess.
I was going to say that's a very backup catcher thing to do.
The umpire, it looks like it's Dan Sonia, goes walking out to the mound. Hey, what are you gonna do for dinner tonight? Like he's just trying to buy this poor guy some time. Woo! Okay, Jackson, I appreciate the fact that you're still high on the A's. I am not, but I do
I,
like the
I,
fact that we have a
I,
new Barry Bonds. Remember, this kid only hit 9 home runs last season, the whole
yeah.
season.
So they hit 9 in your first 17 games.
Yeah,
What?
That's what
Hey,
I'm talking about, Jack. That's what I am talking about, Jack. So there you go. All right, Jackson, before we get started into my number three, let's talk for a second about something that I think is super cool. We have had a tremendous amount of box breaking interest, and we've had a ton of box breaking. If you're not familiar with what box breaking is, uh, for those of you that are card collectors and you don't want your own, you just want your own team, you don't want uh, everything that comes in a box, well, then you do a box break. You order your own team. We established a thing called the 27 ounce club. It is for $27 a month. You get into two box breaks, your team. You get your team in those two box breaks. Then you also get a $5 off coupon every month. Plus, in addition to getting a $5 off coupon, you get early access to all the other box breaks. Jackson, what does that mean? Well, we have two box breaks with heads up sports cards every month. And guess what? When we announced the box 24 hours early yesterday, 12 teams were gone before it went to the general public. So, for those of you that are interested in cards and you want cheap ways to, or easy ways to save money and cheap ways to collect, well, the 27 ounce club. That's the way to do it, right, Jackson?
yep.
There you go. There you go. Okay, so my number three, Jackson, is probably a little bit of kind of what you were talking about when it comes to stats, uh, early on stats, I should say. But I want to point out a guy who I don't get think gets enough sugar. Okay, I just don't think he gets enough sugar because of where he plays. And I'm going to read you his stat line, and you tell me if you know who I'm talking about. Okay. So far this season, 1-1, 2.38 ERA, 22 and two-thirds innings pitched, 32 strikeouts, whip of .66. Second in the MLB in strikeouts.
Is it Logan Gilbert?
It is Logan Gilbert.
Yes.
So Logan's having another amazing season. Last season he had 220 strikeouts and 208 and two-thirds innings, but his record was 9-12. Jackson, do you put much steam in people's records, or do you look at that and say, who cares? I mean, he
No,
plays for Seattle.
I don't put stock into that because some pitchers get like 10 runs of support every start and other pitchers get like one. It, baseball's a team sport. Wins and losses are a team statistic.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
you can put a little stock if a guy wins 20 games, you can put a little stock into it because he's good enough to have had the lead in 20 games.
Hmm.
That's fairly impressive, but you shouldn't be win and loss column watching to really analyze a pitcher. There's so many more stats you can look at. Um, a lot of it's the allowed per nine rates is kind of, the go-to to really find out how effective a pitcher is. Whip's a really nice one because the name of the game is no runs, and you can't score if there's no base runners. Am I right, Bill?
That's true. That's true. I mean, this guy's got 41 wins in his career. Mind you, he plays in Seattle, so Seattle doesn't score a ton of runs. And I think he's eligible for arbitration. I'm looking at it right now. Earliest year eligible is 2026. Yeah. So he may not be with the Seattle Mariners much longer.
Yeah. I mean,
But what's that?
if the Mariners were smart, they would try to build around him. You know, he's a good pitcher. He's thrown 180 or more innings in the last 3 years, I believe. Those guys are not a dime a dozen. Pitchers who can throw that many innings, you do pay. Uh, People seem to think innings pitched is an overrated stat. It is not. Uh,
No,
Outs are progress.
not in the least. Not in the least. And especially Jackson, if you're throwing 200 innings in a season.
Yeah,
If you're throwing 200 innings in a season, you're doing something.
in this era of baseball, that's like gold.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And I've kind of been on Logan watch a little bit just because uh I mean I think he's gonna do another 200 strikeouts a season, back to back 200 strikeouts. And nobody's talking about him because he's not the big, sexy name that everybody talks about when it comes to pitching, right?
well, and the thing is, Logan Gilbert is he's got how do I put it? His arsenal isn't electric like other pitchers. People like to talk about Paul Skeens throwing 100 miles an hour. or guys like Dylan Cease who throw 6 pitches, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, with the crazy movement. Logan Gilbert is a power sinker guy. He's just going to pound you sinker slider and get you out. So it, it's kind of boring in today's baseball, but just because it's boring, don't mean it ain't effective. That's all I'm
No,
going to say.
it don't mean it ain't effective, and
Yeah,
that means he's averaging about a strikeout and a half per inning. So, I mean, if he does that, he'll come darn near 300 strikeouts, and that's it. That's huge territory right there. That's Clayton Kershaw territory. That's some
a,
other territory, and that's dangerous territory to be in.
a 300 strikeout season in my mind is as impressive as hitting 50 home runs.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
100%,
it's probably the pitcher equivalent. It's
two
it's
thousand
crazy.
percent, Jackson, 2000%.
It,
I
it's
like
probably
that.
more it's probably more impressive than hitting 50 home runs, honestly.
Agreed, agreed, agreed. Okay, Jackson, what you got for number four?
Number four, every week I have a dishonorable mention. This one's so bad I have to move it up out of the honorable mentions. The Colorado Rockies, Bill, getting swept by the Padres became it was just the 34th time in MLB history that a team was shut out for the entire series. I want to read you some numbers here, Bill. They had
Read away, my friend. I am so
12
sorry, Colorado Rocky fans. Read
yeah,
away.
I
Let's go.
I am so sorry. 12 total bases over 3 games as a team. Uh, Kyle Farmer went 5 for 10 with 3 doubles and 2 singles. So he had 8 of those total bases, which means over 3 games, everybody else on the Colorado Rockies had 4 total bases. That is brutal. That is horrible. The Rockies might be one of the worst teams of all time. They're certainly looking like it.
Not yet. Not yet. I don't think they're going to catch the White Sox the last year.
You got to look at these offensive numbers, Bill. They're atrocious. They just put Chris Bryant's back on the injured list with degenerative disc disease in his back. They have no true star talent. They're just kind of sitting there, with the vibes. That's how the Rockies get people in the ballpark, though. It's the vibes. This offense is putrid. It's really hard to pitch in cores, so their pitching development stinks. It's going to be a long year, Rockies fans, and I'm sorry, but it's the truth.
It's the truth. Um, the thing that would bother me if I were a Rockies fan isn't, I don't know that it's that. You know what I think would really bother me is the fact that ownership doesn't seem like they're doing anything about it.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I don't know that it's, it's so strange, but it feels like ownership isn't doing jack about it, right?
No, the
And
only quote unquote significant move they've made probably in the past decade is signing Chris Bryant.
mhm. Yep, yep. And and yeah.
That's not good.
So, all right, Jackson, I hope that we can still be friends out of my number four.
All right.
Okay. This one's gonna hurt you. But it needs to be said. It let's see, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven. Yeah, it just needs to be said. Okay. Max Fried starts out 3-0 with the Yankees, 1.88 ERA, 24 innings pitched, 28 strikeouts, a whip of 1.17. You got to mention this guy in conversations and why the Yankees are still where they're at. Because you can't put all that pressure after Garrett Cole going down for Tommy John surgery. You can't put all the pressure on Carlos Rendon.
Well,
He's not your guy,
no.
right? And Max is throwing very well. Uh, again, I think he's got a shot. He might, if he stays healthy, he might end up tossing about 180 strike, 90 strike. That's Max is definitely worth having a conversation about. And I don't know that if the I really don't know if the um, If the Braves still had him, if that would make a difference with the Braves right now.
No,
Uh,
if you sit down and watch a Braves game, it's very obviously a lineup issue. I'll just say that right now. The
yeah,
pitching hasn't been bad.
yeah, and that's probably the case, but I do think it's worth mentioning because I mean Max is found himself a home over there. The Yankees are 12-7 to start out, and he looks good. I mean, you're not going to get 200 innings out of him. He's not probably going to throw you 200 strikeouts, but he's gonna win 10, 11, 12, maybe 13 games for you. He'll probably get 180 strikeouts. He'll have an ERA under 3. So you can't complain about that, right?
Nope. And here's what I'll say about Max Fried. Max Fried is just the guy the Yankees need. He's really good at stepping up when there's a void. He did it in 2020 when the Braves had a ton of injuries and helped propel them to the NLCS. He did it in 2021 on their World Series run, and he did it last season when he was healthy. He was good. He carried the load late in the season when the pitching was thin. And Max is the perfect guy for you if you need somebody to step up. He's fantastic when healthy. And I think the Yankees having that advantage of being able to offer him 8 years really kind of saved themselves from disaster with this Garrett Cole injury.
Yeah. And disaster is a really, really good word for that because frankly, when that Garrett Cole injury happens, you got to look at it and go, huh, how do we play this?
Yeah,
Right?
and
And what do we do?
yeah, we were talking about the great start Aaron Judge is off to. You cannot waste years that Aaron Judge does stuff like this.
Not at all. Not at all.
So
Not at all. All right, Jackson, it's time for you to go to number 5. Where are you going to go with number 5?
uh, I want to talk about uh, this will be a shortened rant. I've been thinking about this the whole time, but I want to talk about the MLB underselling the importance of. We had Jackie Robinson Day this last week, and I just really wanted to emphasize to everyone because the MLB statement was weak compared to previous years. Jackie Robinson wasn't just a great player; he was a great man, and he was really important not only for baseball history but for American history as a whole. And yeah, I just think it needs to be said. Jackie Robinson is probably the singular most important player in MLB history, and I'm sure
Yeah,
you're not going to argue with me as a Dodgers fan, and
I
I
wouldn't
don't think
argue with
anyone
you
else.
even if you was a
Yeah.
Giant fan.
I was going to say I don't even think Giants fans would argue with me about that fact. Uh, but I just really wanted to. My number 5 is remembering Jackie Robinson this week, and the great game of baseball, and all the wonderful people from all over the world that play this game. Give us entertainment every day.
Yeah. Yeah, Jackie had to do some things that none of us have to do, right? He had to go through some very, very tough circumstances. And it was more than just baseball. It was more than just baseball. It was not being able to live where his teammates live, not being able to, or some managers refusing to play their players against him, hotels refusing to house the Dodgers because of him. I mean, you saw the movie 42. You saw the Philadelphia Phillies manager and how that played itself out. It was terrible. What Jackie did was amazing, was nothing short of amazing. And so he he solidified and he changed the game of baseball by far. I mean, think of all the players that we would have never seen had Jackie not done that, right?
Yeah, and it even progressed things outside of baseball. We won't get too much of that. We're just a baseball podcast here, not a history podcast. But don't tempt me to start one. Don't tempt me to start one. Uh, I
Don't
could
let
talk
that.
for
Don't tempt me.
I
Don't tempt me. Don't
yeah
tempt me.
I could talk for hours about it. But yeah, I just wanted to highlight Jackie Robinson's importance and you know how great it is to have a person like Jackie Robinson in the sport of baseball.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think of all the players that have come after him. I mean, some of his own teammates, Roy Campanella, Don Newcomb, but think of other players: Roberto Clemente, Willie Mays, um, Roberto Clemente. Think of all these players that we may never have seen. And Branch Rickey was pivotal. I can't speak English.
Pivotal.
Um, in making sure that he found somebody that could handle himself on the field and off the field and be strong enough to not respond on the field or off the field to things and people being yucky on the field. Right. So I love it, man.
Yeah.
That's a great
And,
pull. That was part of my honorable mention.
yeah. And to finish it up, I want to start my official petition to put Jackie Robinson on the $20 bill. Let's do it. Yeah. Hey,
The back the back of that $20 bill is the White House. So you might have a little bit of a tough go there, but
yeah,
maybe
I let's just do it anyways.
maybe we have a $42 bill made.
You know what? I actually like that idea. Let's
I
just have the
mean, that's the price of a half a gallon of gas out here in California these days.
yeah, let's do it. $42 bill.
$42 bill.
It would bug.
$42 bill, y'all.
Hey, I'm here for it, but we need to get him on. Really, I think it's really important people remember how important he is. Just more than baseball. Jackie is more than baseball. That's why we
Jack
celebrate him.
Roosevelt Robinson, the Brooklyn Dodgers, right? Let's not forget his character too, when he refused a trade to the Giants and decided to retire instead. Talk about rivalries running deep, right?
On the Top Fan Rivalry show, isn't that our job? Talk about rivalry.
Sir, yes, sir. So, all right, my number five actually has to do with a city that Jackie played in, but I can mention Jackie now. I was going to talk about the Kansas City Royals for a minute. I am shocked at the way that these guys have started. Remember, I said it was going to be Detroit and Kansas City. Now, that division is not awesome. The second place team is 500. Everybody else is under 500, but Kansas City's 4 games under 500. I would not have bet in the first 20 games that Kansas City would be 8 and 12. Would not have bet that in a million years, Jackson. Not with the lineup that they have, not with the pitching staff that they have. They made the playoffs last season. There would have been no way that you would have got me to say that. So my number five has to do with the fact that Kansas City has not been nearly as awesome as I thought they would be.
Yeah, I agree with you. They're certainly below expectations. I think it's their lineup. We talked about it last year. If you can get through Bobby Witt Jr., you feel pretty safe. They got a couple other hitters in that lineup, but I think Kansas City's not really going to find that consistency offensively until they get Jack Caglione up at the
Hmm.
big league level. Uh, they need another power threat. That lineup bad. Salvador Perez, as fantastic as the player he is aging. Pasquantino and MJ Melendez haven't really turned into the guy to protect Bobby Witt Jr. They need to find a bat and they need to find it quick.
No, I agree. I agree. And see, Kansas City is one of those teams, right, that you look at and you say, okay, a guy like I'll use Bobby Miller for example. A guy like Bobby Miller who gives up 6 runs, almost has a 7 run lead against or 6 run lead against Colorado and almost blows it the other night, giving up 3 home runs on 6 home runs with one grand slam as well. Um, a guy like Bobby Witt Jr. Or I'm sorry, Bobby Witt Jr. A guy like Bobby Miller I think he needs a fresh start. Think he needs to go someplace. A team like Kansas City would be a great fit for them because they're on the cusp of making not only playoff runs, but make going deep into the playoffs. And so Kansas City needs to find that bat. Not only that bat, I mean, when you're looking at hits, you've got one, two, three, four, five, six, 7 guys in double digits, and then everybody else single digits. Some of them very low single digits. They've got Kevin Biggio, and he's got 6 hits so far this season. He's batting 207. Not awesome. But then again, you have Bobby Witt Jr., who's got 24 hits, right? He's batting 308, 2 home runs, 8 RBIs. So Bobby Witt's doing the Bobby Witt stuff that he's supposed to do. But that being said, I think Kansas City is needs to step into high gear. I'm fearful that they are. I'm very fearful that they are not going to meet up to expectations. They cannot fall too far behind. They're not the Braves. They're not the Braves that have this history of putting things together in the recent past and can drop. I mean, here I'm saying Kansas City, who's only 3.5 games out of first place and 4 games under 500, time to panic type thing. Yet I'm saying the Braves, who are 5-13, it's not time to panic. Different cultures, though. I mean, I'm wrong,
Yeah,
Jackson.
yeah, you're right. Kansas City got off to a pretty good start last year, and they were able to kind of maintain momentum through a slump that they had
Mhm.
after the first month. And for a team that it lacks, I think what they lack is the track record. Like you
Yeah.
said, they don't have this history of catching fire, and that's what worries about me about the lineup. It's a bunch of guys that haven't proven that they can provide the oomph needed, over a season's worth of baseball. So Kansas City really needs to put it together because if not, it's going to be the Cleveland and Detroit show in that AL Central, and it's going to
Hmm.
be really hard to catch up to them because those
Yeah.
are two really well-run organizations.
Yeah. Agreed. 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 Um, okay, Jackson, before we get on to our honorable mentions, which we always do at the end of the show, I think it's time to pause. Forget MLB baseball cards. We talked about that earlier. Forget that for a second. Did you know, Top Fan Rivalry friends, that you can get your own personalized baseball card? Okay. They're $30. You get 25 of them. But Jackson, I don't want them to pay full price. So how do they get a discount? Like, is there discounts available out there?
If you use code Jackson, you will get 10% off.
Oh, use code Jackson, you get 10% off. Jackson, all capital letters. Capital J, capital A, capital C, capital K, capital S, capital O, and capital N. That's right. Use that and you are all good. You get 10% off. You submit us a picture, you submit anything you want for the back. We typically tell people, hey, tell us your favorite player, tell us maybe a fun event, tell us your favorite team, but hey, you can do whatever you want. There are people that are using them as graduation gifts. There are people that are using them as business cards. I mean, I've got the list
I
goes
was gonna say
on and on.
I think of some other things, wedding announcements, invitations to your birthday party, whatever you want to be.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, Jackson, you mentioned the code. I think it's important that people know that it's out there. And I wanted to mention that before the last 10 minutes of our show. Also, too, we want to thank Bleacher Brothers for putting us on. If you're watching this on YouTube and you're not familiar, Bleacher Brothers Radio Network does a great job at hosting this. If you're listening to this just on the radio network uh, with Bleacher Brothers, you obviously know that. But we've got a great partnership, Top Fan Rivalry and Bleacher Brothers out there. So, yeah, we're going to keep that going. So, all right, my good friend. Any honorable mentions that you have for today?
The Tampa Bay Rays today call up outfield prospect Chandler Simpson. He stole 110 or 104 bases in 110 games last year, Bill. In the minor leagues this year, he had 8 steals in 17 games. He's hitting 301. This guy is fast. They're calling this guy Billy Hamilton 2.0. And I'm excited. I've seen some clips of this guy run. He can fly. So if we're gonna have an 100 stolen base season again in MLB, this guy's got a pretty good shot at it. He's just got to get on base enough. you know, the simple ask at a major league level of getting on base enough to steal 100 bases. Um, but good luck. He'll be a fun guy to watch, and maybe a nice little sleeper fantasy pick.
The so yes. And speaking of stolen bases, Jackson, so every show, every around the diamond, Sam and I do the stolen base count. So 2 seasons ago we did it and we had the highest stolen bases, I think, ever. This last season we beat that record. This season we're on pace to annihilate that record. I mean, guys are just moving like all the time. And it's great. It's great to see that little ball. It's great to see the funness of that, right?
Yeah, we
So
talked. I think we talked about it last week. The future of baseball is get them on, get them over, get them in.
yeah,
With how hard it
yeah,
is to hit some of these pitchers. Pitchers don't make mistakes, not the good ones at least.
100%, 100%. I love that. I love that about the game. Okay, do you have any other honorable mentions?
Welcome back, Spencer Strider, who, who came
Dash
back.
or Beard now.
He only struck out five batters in his season debut, but he became the fastest player to 500 strikeouts, Bill, doing it in just 334 and two-thirds innings. So if his arm procedure went well and he stays healthy, I think this is a guy to watch that has, I'm not going to say an out, you know, but he's a guy to watch because if he stays healthy and has a nice career, maybe just maybe 3,000 strikeouts could be on the table. But again, big ask. Don't have your arm fall off. Big ask.
But can we please, for the love of everything decent and holy, get the man some pants that fit?
There are no pants that fit. Have you seen that man's quads?
Well,
I'm
not
not,
up close and personal, maybe like you, Jackson, but
I mean,
no, I,
look, I watched part of the Braves broadcast the other day. They said his quads are even bigger
oh
than they
geez.
were the last time he pitched. So, uh,
Get a brother
you
with
know,
some pants that fit. I know you ladies out there love it, but I'm not a big fan. I'm not a
I
big
think
fan at all.
he should drop a workout video with his quad routine, uh, and sell that for some cash on the side. Exercise video because
Oh man. Okay.
I want to know how hard that goes.
Yeah, yeah. Remind me not to mess with this guy if you so
Yeah.
any other honorable mentions? I got a few, but any other honorable mentions?
Uh, and then my last one was Geraldo Perdomo's after a great start for Arizona this year. He's got a 919 OPS. He has 18 RBIs already, which is crazy for a guy who last year only had 37 RBIs. So he's halfway to last season's total, in just 19 games. So Perdomo looking pretty good. That extension that the Diamondbacks gave him last season, looking pretty good right now.
Mhm. So,
So
um, okay, those are all good. I'm gonna shout out my boy Shohei. Boy, but here's the thing. Here's what I want to say to you, Jackson. The man is leading the Dodgers with 23 hits. Okay? The man is leading the Dodgers with 23 hits. He only has 6 home runs, who's, by the way, he's tied with Tommy Tanks. Tommy Edman has had a great start. But Jackson, are you ready for this? 6 home runs, 8 RBIs. The people aren't getting on base in front of him.
now
That's a problem.
I think with how I think part of the issue with the Dodgers lineup right now is not. I think he can't be in that one hole. I know people like hitting Otani leadoff because he gets on base. He's got to be somewhere where people aren't in front of him. Put some pressure on.
Yeah, I actually like, believe it or not, I actually like him in a number 3 hole, 2 or 3 hole. I would love to have Mookie lead off, Freddie hit second, and Shohei hit third. But
I mean, you could probably go if you were trying to do the righty thing. Probably go Mookie, Shohei, Teoscar Hernandez, then Freddie Freeman. Would
yeah, I just
that
don't.
would also work.
Yeah, I just don't like Freddie hitting cleanup.
I don't know.
Shohei just hit
He
a home
puts the
run.
ball. Yeah, counterpoint. He puts the ball in place.
Yeah,
Freeman
Shohei just
doesn't.
hit a home run. Oh no, I'm sorry. That's Tommy Edmonds who led off. Tommy Tanks to the rescue.
I was gonna
Jackson, by
say
the way, I
Shohei's on
have
the
to do
paternity list, my guy.
I have to do the what's that?
Shohei's on the paternity list tonight,
Oh,
in case
my
you
bad.
haven't heard.
So Tommy
So
Tanks hits a home run. I have to do the ice bucket challenge if he hits 30 home runs. And right
oh,
now he's got 7. So
uh,
I'm feeling the heat, sir. I'm feeling the
I
heat.
was gonna say his career high is 13, so you might be safe.
Yeah,
It's
but he
still too
hasn't hit
early to
7 in
tell.
April before.
Yeah, I've seen guys hit 7 in April and not any for the rest of the season.
That's
Base,
that's true. I gotta
that's how
send a
baseball.
message.
That's how baseball works. But
Exactly, exactly, exactly. Um, okay, so the other honorable mention that I have is I'm gonna go back to Kansas City for a second. I'm gonna go back to Jackie Robinson. We're gonna end this on a very unique note, although very good note. Um, I've had the chance to visit Kansas City the last 2 seasons. and visit the ballpark there. It's a phenomenal ballpark. Absolutely phenomenal ballpark. Um, Food's great. The people are great. The people that have hosted us over at Airmark, they're fantastic people. But while we were there, both times we visited the Negro Leagues Museum. Absolute breathtaking place. I would highly recommend it, especially with Jackie Robinson Day just happening. I would highly recommend this. It's just a great museum. And a block away from the museum is this old brick building that doesn't look like anything. Okay, it looks like just an old brick building. Um, and that's where the YMCA building was, where they formed the league. On the back side of that building is a mural with some of the great players that played in that league. And they have a little baseball field on there and things like that. So, fantastic place to visit. I would highly encourage it. I'd highly recommend it. Go to the museum, spend a little bit of money. After you spend a little bit of money there, go over to the YMCA. Great cause, great museum. Jackson, have you been before?
I've not been to Kansas City, no.
Okay, we need to get you there.
It's on my list.
Yeah,
So
we need to get you there. So, Um, all right, Jackson, as we wrap up, if anybody is shopping out there and they're looking for gifts as the season is in full effect now, they go to topfanrivalry.com. They're going to check out some merch. They're going to check out all kinds of fun stuff, but they're not going to pay full price because they're going to use which discount code, Jackson?
go Jackson, get 10% off. Come on, snatch some merch up. Wear your Top Fan Rivalry merch. Snap a picture. Send it on over to Bill at Top Fan Rivalry on Instagram and Twitter. Uh,
Yeah.
X, whatever you want to call it. It's still
Uh-huh.
Twitter. Yeah, I can't say X. I'm
Exactly.
sorry. I can't say it with a straight face. I told Thomas that on the Chop House Chatter podcast earlier. But it's still Twitter. And send it to Bill, and Bill will put it up for you.
Absolutely,
Just
100%.
we'll enjoy it.
100%.
We love it. So
100%.
tag up your merch. Use code Jackson. That's all you need to
Go
remember.
Jackson. I love it. Jackson, thanks again. I always love doing these with you. We do a great job. Thank you, Bleacher Brothers, for putting us on the audio side, also on the YouTube side. We appreciate it. We love it. It's interesting to do these as games are going on. Usually, Jackson and I are doing them early on a Friday morning. It's interesting to go while the games are on because you get distracted. Ooh, look, squirrel. Ooh, look, squirrel. So, Jackson, we'll do it again next week.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, my friend. We'll see everybody later, and we will talk to you next week. Bye bye now.